Hello Gaias, welcome to my channel. If you like the video, little PLs, subscribe my channel because it is my first video. One quiet night, a strange event unfolded in a small village. On the outskirts stood an old, decaying house, long abandoned, its windows shattered and walls crumbling. The villagers whispered among themselves, speaking of an evil spirit that haunted the place. They said that anyone brave or foolish enough to enter never returned. Rick, a newcomer to the village, wasn't swayed by the superstitions of the locals. Fearless and driven by curiosity, he was drawn to the ominous tales surrounding the house. Despite the villagers' warnings, he decided that he would explore it that very night. As Rick neared the house, the air grew unnervingly cold and heavy. For a brief moment, doubt flickered in his mind, but he quickly pushed it aside. The pale light filtering through the grime-coated windows cast distorted shadows across the room. Rick's heartbeat quickened, but he pressed forward, determined to uncover the truth. Then a soft whisper drifted through the air. Rick froze, his senses straining. The whisper grew louder, then clearer, until it morphed into a piercing scream that reverberated through the house. A chill ran down his spine. His heart raced, paralyzed by fear. As Rick turned to leave, the door slammed shut behind him with a force that shook the entire room. He tugged desperately at the door, but it wouldn't budge, as though an unseen force held it shut. Panic surged within him as he stumbled backward. And then he saw it. In the far corner of the room, a figure stood, blurred and misshapen, as though torn from a nightmare. Its eyes gleamed with a bloodshot rage that froze Rick in place. His mouth went dry, and when he tried to speak, no sound came. The walls seemed to pulse as a guttural voice filled the room. "You cannot leave." Rick's heart pounded in his chest. Fear overtook him as he fled deeper into the house, breath ragged and heavy. His eyes fell upon an old photograph, crookedly framed on the wall. The image inside was haunting, a ghostly figure locked in a terrifying kiss. The very photograph seemed to bleed an air of dread. Then the scream came again, louder, more deafening, a sound that seemed to emanate from the bones of the house itself. The next morning, the villagers found Rick, but he was gone. Only one thing remained: the same eerie photograph, now faintly marked with a strange symbol, an unmistakable curse. Fear spread through the village, and soon, panic set in. Desperate, the villagers turned to a renowned tantric from a neighboring town, the only one who might be able to confront the spirit. Without hesitation, the tantric arrived, his very presence almost as unsettling as the ghost. He began an ancient ritual, his chants filling the air with dark power. The ghost appeared, summoned by the tantric's spell, its form now clearer. A soul bound by torment, vengeful and restless. Through the tantric's power, the spirit spoke, revealing the horrific story of its past. Once a man who had lived in the house, he had been murdered by a group of cruel men who buried him beneath the floorboards, his life stolen unjustly. For years, his soul had been trapped, seeking revenge on those who wronged him. Without wasting another moment, the tantric commanded the villagers to help him unearth the body. They dug deep beneath the house, their hearts racing with dread. When they finally uncovered the remains, the tantric performed the final rites, granting the tormented soul its long-awaited peace. As the last prayer was spoken, the air in the house lightened, and the oppressive presence that had haunted the village slowly faded. The ghost's wrath was finally quelled. The village began to heal, its people no longer gripped by fear, but the memory of that night, of the terror, the ghost, the ancient house, lingered in their minds, a shadow that would never truly fade. And the house, still abandoned, stood silently at the edge of the village, its threshold waiting, as if biding its time for the next unwitting soul to cross its cursed path. For some evils, they say, never truly leave,